SEC Gary Gensler disappointed by part of Ripple, still assessing opinion, and AI could play a big role in the future financial crisis, Gensler. Okay, so I was just reading the little prompt that I had here because it pretty much sums it up. So basically what happened yesterday it looks like it was at an event in DC, Gary Gensler said he's disappointed with the court's decision in the Ripple case regarding retail investors. But he's pleased that the part found that the institutional sale of XRP did violate federal securities laws. And then he went on to talk about AI, believes AI could destabilize the global economy if big tech monopolizes its development for financial market applications. But the good thing about AI is we all know that Gary Gensler is incapable of doing his job. So people in AI that are working in that industry, they'll have no problem innovating in the United States probably for the next 10 years, because by the time the public servants get it together and come up with some form of regulation, it will already have destroyed the United States of America. So congratulations, public servants.
I love a good Wendy O rant on a Taco Tuesday. It doesn't get much better than that. Also, welcome back to the show, Zach. You didn't get a proper welcome back. We missed you.
Yeah, we missed you. Sorry, Zach. I was
so
concerned about Gary. I had to just go off on him and saying, I love the pink. You look very touristy. You look like
you look like you're on vacation still.
You look like an 80s dad.
Thanks. It's pretty much what I am. But yeah, this is, there's so much has happened since I've been away. Like when I left, the industry was down in the dumps. And then all of a sudden, the Ripple thing happens. And all of a sudden, everyone's like, we're back. It's happening. Yay. And you have Gary doing interviews saying how disappointed he is in the ruling. And hey, that means something. Because when this came out, the SEC said, hey, we're happy for the win that we secured here in this federal courtroom today. So a bit of the reality of the situation comes out in these comments from SEC Chair Gary Gensler. But yeah, this feels like a landmark situation where all of a sudden the crypto industry has secured a much needed win and is feeling a bit emboldened, I think, as it relates to a regulatory path forward. Also, I think really, and this is based on comments from people at the Blockchain Association and others, sort of the fight really now turns to Congress, right? This really changes the political calculus as it relates to a couple of bills that are currently on Capitol Hill. So to see this go down, to see these comments from Gary Gensler, to see that this judge in New York said basically, hey, despite Gary Gensler's claims that things are clear and just the crypto industry needs to play by the rules, obviously what was stated in this ruling was that no, that's not true, and we need some legal clarity in terms of what's going to happen. And people are suggesting that decision by the federal judge in this case could change the calculus for getting Democrats to the table and saying, okay, let's take action here. Let's step up and figure out if it's the McHenry bill or others that provide clarity for crypto assets going forward. So I think for me, that's where really all eyes are pointed to DC to see how this changes the calculus there. But I want to get Jen's take because I'm sure it's a smart one.
Zach, with the vacation optimism, I love it. I think it wasn't surprising to see Gensler's comments here. He's obviously disappointed that that retail investment on trading platforms are not consistent. I can't speak English today. Are not considered securities. He's been very public about saying that he thinks most of the cryptos out there are securities. So it's obvious that he would be disappointed here. I think that it is also very important to note that this is one judge in one district. Many people who are commenting on this have said, this is not precedent setting. The SEC could appeal. And so for me, it just creates more confusion. I don't have the same vacation optimism as you, Zach. I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know what's going to happen next. And I am just as confused as I was before. As it pertains to the AI comments that Gensler made, I think it was really interesting that he said, what guardrails do exist have become outdated and new guardrails need to be created for AI because we've never had anything like this. And then when we look at how he speaks about the crypto industry, he says, what exists already works for this new technology. The Howey test that, was invented way back when at the beginning of the 1900s, just works. And it's just really interesting that we have these two really innovative technologies and one needs new guardrails. And then Gensler comes in and says the other one is just fine. And so those are my not so optimistic takes on Gensler's remarks here.
I don't
We
know.
start
There's
the
some
segment with a
sighing. There's
sigh
some sadness.
and end
There,
it with a sigh.
I really think.
I couldn't
that-
even speak. I was so flustered about it.
I think it's a glass half full moment for the industry. And I think most
Maybe.
people kind of feel that way. Like the vibe shift is here. And all of a sudden, Ripple of all people are the firm to deliver a victory that, really puts a crack or at least undermines Gary's legal thinking here, right? That these assets don't inherently embody the characteristics of a security. Indeed, it's how they are involved in various transactions and the facts and circumstances of those transactions, right? You have a judge saying, okay, those institutional sales, they look like one thing. The retail sales look like a completely other thing. So it's not the asset itself, it's the transaction that should be assessed here when making these distinctions. And I think that really runs counter to what Gary Gensler has been saying for months now, that all these things except for Bitcoin are securities. They embody the traits of securities, irregardless of how they are transacted in the market. So I think it's just fascinating to see that this judge has sort of upended that line of thinking. And she has said, hey, no, we really need to think more clearly about this stuff, and rather than applying these blanket rules and blanket categories. I can't even speak now either. Thanks, Jen.
That's really for me. I'm so
really
sorry.
quickly. The thing is,
go.
we just keep hearing about we should do this, we should do that, regulation, but nobody implements them. Did they just talk about it? They've been talking about crypto regulation since like 2017. I remember the big congressional hearing that happened way back when I was brand new to crypto Twitter. It was absolutely ridiculous. So it's like, don't talk about it. Be about it.
I love that, Wendy. I love that. Well, we should note that XRP is also being relisted on a bunch of exchanges now. So there's that. There is that nice optimistic take for the XRP army out there.